This is how my desk looks after I took my photo for my Instagram post after recording my last video. Can you see my journal? It's really well camouflaged, isn't it? Look, here it is. I found this so interesting and at the same time inspiring that I have left it here for you so that you can see it in this video. And this side here also brought me to the idea for today's video. Hi, this is Luise Heinzl, and today I want to try to find a more strategic way to include elements in my journal which are totally different in style than what I already have in here. That was also the idea behind the last video you have seen on this channel. I have shown you my Raggedy Turtle Bloom journal and introduced you to my Down the Shoreline ephemera pack, which is new in my shop and which is a digital ephemera pack. And in the last video, we already tried to bring some of these pieces into the journal, even if the style of the journal is totally different than the style of this ephemera pack. And I showed you how we made this here with this little thing here, which is completely different to what I have here from the Raggedy Turtle Bloom paper collection. And that was a really interesting experience. And we made this little tuck spot here from some existing elements and added some things from my stash and also things from the new digital ephemera pack. And also here we made something, and this little thing here came there as well. And also on the other page we made a tiny little thing because we had this paper clip here, which is not only here. I mean, you know, a paper clip is always on two sides of the paper, you know. And then we had this here, and I added some splatters here to match the color of this little thread here. And then I was sitting here and I thought, okay, that's really nice. I'm really happy with how this turned out. And I'm also happy with this page tab look here of these things which we have here, because this Down the Shoreline ephemera pack has a ton of page tabs. Also this here, which we also glued here in the last video. And then I thought, and that was why this was laying around here, is there perhaps a more strategic way to do that? Because, or is it strategical way? I don't know. Is there a strategy available which we can use to put all of these pieces in the journal without struggling every single time where to glue each of these pieces? If you have seen the last video, you have perhaps seen how much I struggled with including these pieces which are not in the same color and not in the same style. We found a solution, yes, but is that perhaps a starting point for something where we can do that a little faster and with less struggling? I don't know. I mean, struggling is sometimes good, and not all of the fast solutions are good solutions, yeah? But I want to try that. And yeah, I want to do that a little more strategically. And for that, I think I want to start with these more neutral page tabs, and I want to see if we perhaps can find a place for these first and then add something like this here, because that was something I did in the other video as well. I have taken this, which comes from the ephemera pack and which is similar to these, and then I added this, and from that we got this. So perhaps that is somehow possible if we do that like step by step, somehow like a little recipe or so. And with that, we can perhaps also get these a little bit sprinkled through the journal, so that then there comes like something like, yeah, a harmonious look with these things as well. If you then flip through the journal and you see here and there one of these, that could be perhaps helpful or add to the cohesiveness of this. And I'm also wondering, can I change the look of my existing page tabs with these as well? Questions. Yes, that is also possible. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that really, really much, even if this orange is not the same like that, but who cares? I think we can make that work in the whole context. It looks really nice, I think. This is walnut stain oxide ink. I've used that already in the other video for inking these elements from the Shoreline ephemera pack. And if you perhaps, oh my goodness, that was too much glue. If you perhaps are new here, then first of all, welcome to the madness. Welcome to this channel. And second of all, perhaps you want to know what this is and what we are doing here, and perhaps you want to know more about this journal, then please check out the description box of this video. There you will find a playlist which is called Raggedy Turtle Bloom, because that is also the name of this printable I have used here for this journal, and you know, the printable which I used to make this journal, and yeah, the one which was the starting point for this. And now we are doing a little like time travel, because I have already shown you this journal in my paper premiere. It's really hard to speak and do this at the same time, I have to admit. You can find the paper premiere linked below. It's also in the playlist. And there I have shown you this condition of this journal already. And it's really hard when you already have so many things there. Let's see. But here this could work. Then we could make like a double page tab. And we could then put something to the other side as well. And the idea behind this is to show you a finished journal first, and then after that, steps of my process of making this. And I want to thank you again. So many of you have said that you appreciate that, and that you appreciate this idea to do it like I did it, or yeah, I have done that now for several of my paper collections, and that seems to be something which is helpful for you, and that makes me happy, because then, you know, everything I do here, or perhaps not everything, but at least this thing, what I'm doing here, makes sense, and that is good. So I've decided to take this here and glue that there. I like that better than the other one, but this is also a page tab, and in this printable you get both sides, so you can glue them, how do you say that in English, back to back, is that English? So this is the front, then you can do it like this. Oh, but a little bit, I want it a little bit more like so. And then you can take this piece, which you also obviously get with the printable, and you can then glue that to the other side, and it's come out exactly matching the shape of the other piece, so that this is not white from the back side. So I will now go on and try to find spots where I first can glue down these tab thingies. Either these in this style, or these which I grabbed first. And then we can perhaps go on with like a second step and a second layer, which we could then add to these. Or if I have something like this here, I think, look, this is really cool. Is this perhaps a little bit too big? What I was trying to say is, if I already have something like this here and I think I can just add this without anything else, then I do that, because this obviously adds to this harmonious look as well and to the cohesiveness of the whole journal. So I will quickly do that and then we can go on with the next step.
You sat alone where restless waves stamp secrets in the silent sand. Like a quiet turtle tucked inside a shell the world can't understand. Your eyes held the horizon, longing for a place to dream. All the hurt you pressed between pages, behind a gentle emerald sheen. I wandered down the shoreline, pockets full of gathered years. Like a quiet turtle, scared to let love tide drown all my tears. But when our shadows touched that dusk in golden trembling light, we peeked out from our hiding place. The whole sea paused that night. We are Raggedy Turtle Bloom. Ooh, shipwrecked souls that chase the sun. Shells, but now we journey on and on and on. Every page we stitch together, every shell we leave behind. In a world that rushes past us, I found your hand in mine. No storm will ever break apart the bond we made from ruins. We are Raggedy Turtle Bloom, wild and bright, a loving tune.
And you can also use two of these page tab pieces which are not the same size from the printable by taking one and then put that, for example, here like so. Ooh, but a second ago I realized that my wish of being strategically didn't work so well because of my brain. And here's the same thing. I'm thinking, let's put this under here. I will in a second glue that down properly. But that is somehow my brain. It happened here. Where is this? Where is it now? Where this transparent pocket is. Here. Where I thought I want to have this. And then I thought, why don't I put this die cut piece here underneath? And obviously that's only possible now and not later. Otherwise I couldn't get it under there. And now here I have the same thing. That I think these die cuts would look really nice here. And yeah, then somehow my brain tells me to change my strategy a little bit, but that doesn't matter. That keeps your brain from getting rusty. At least it's for my brain. So then here, when you want to use these pieces which have not the same size, just line the second one up here like so. And then on the other side, it obviously has not the same shape, but who cares? We just take our scissors, cut along here, and make this work. And I like this because then you have this size here, and obviously totally different possibilities with excuse me, with the decoration here. And then when you turn it around, it looks different here.
You taught me how to listen to the lullabies of waves, to trust a battered heart can find the rhythm that it craves. You taught me how to open to the rain and let it heal. We built a home from driftwood scraps where whispered hopes are real. Loving you was learning how to breathe beneath the tide. Impossible and wondrous when we stop the urge to hide. And let them say we're too late, too lost, too hidden to belong. They don't see how turtles blossom when the world feels so wrong. The gentlest touch can turn a shadow shell into a home for two. We're not what they all expected, but I'm so glad that I've got you. We are Raggedy Turtle Bloom. Ooh, shipwrecked souls that chase the sun. Shells, but now we journey on and on and on. Every page we stitch together, every shell we leave behind. In a world that rushes past us, I found your hand in mine. No storm will ever break apart the bond we made from ruins. We are Raggedy Turtle Bloom, wild and bright, a loving tune. We are Raggedy Turtle Bloom, wild and bright at the edge of the world with you.
Okay, it's already the next day. That is good because then we have fresh eyes, which we can use to take another look at this and go on with the next round of decorating this. You can see ich bin hier. Oh my goodness. Yes, ich bin hier. I am here. Sorry, that was German. I think my brain is not really awake completely. You can see I'm here in the back of oh my goodness. I'm here in the back of my journal, so I've stopped flipping through it, you know, and then when I did the last thing here, I stopped here, stopped the camera, went to bed, and then now I'm here in the same stage. And now I want to flip from here to the front again to add some more things. I want to include some of the things from my scrap box and my stash, like this little cigarette card here, perhaps a little piece of this, or perhaps even a bigger piece of this. I also have this here, which I think could work with some of the colors we have in here. I've also taken out these little guys here because I think especially the white ones remind to little water bubbles. Perhaps we can use some of these for additional decoration. The same thought behind these buttons here I have taken out. And what I also have is this little piece of lace which I have left over, and where is this other stuff here? I have some of this material here. I mean, if this isn't turtles and ocean and, you know, beach and so on, then I don't know what this shall be. So let's do a second round. So what I want to do now is I want to look where I have glued my pieces in the first round. So for example, you could see I have put this little page tab here to this card. So that means I take the card again, still hoping that this can give us somehow, yeah, something like a strategy. And then I take all of these, I'm so sorry, all of these pieces again, and then I look what I want to add there, also pretty strategically. So let's say, for example, a piece of this lace, meaning a piece which is not paper, either perhaps this or from the lace. Perhaps also, and that probably not everywhere, but perhaps also a die cut. Oh, I like when it's centered. So for example, like this, and then perhaps, first I thought this is too big, but I really, look, I really like that. I have used bookbinder's glue here. This is obviously pretty strong, yeah, when this is dry it's pretty strong, but the problem for me in this moment is the drying time of the glue. And if I would now take bookbinder's glue to glue this little piece, which is also a little bit like plastic somehow, and then the button, it would take forever to dry, and I couldn't take this immediately and put it back into my pocket here. That's why I want to use some super glue to glue the buttons and this strange material on here, and that is for me pretty helpful because, you know, then I can do that and immediately go on. So let's go on with this method. Let's look where we have the next piece we've added yesterday. So that is would be this one here, and now I want to see what else I could add there, either from here or from the other scraps I have. And with using these scraps, I also want to show you how it would be if you would have such a journal and then you have other pieces where you think, I want to include something, like I said in the beginning, like for example, something you made by yourself, something you got as a gift or so, but something which at first glance doesn't fit the style so well. And this is, of course, obviously also a good method to use up your scraps and things you have. It doesn't necessarily have to be something you got as a gift, or it doesn't necessarily have to be something you've collected from a holiday or so. That can be basically everything. The other day I got a comment below one of my videos, and that is something I read pretty often, where it said, what is the sense of a junk journal? And also this question, why do we include something like a digital paper, something which is obviously new, if we call this whole thing a junk journal? And for me, that is on the one hand a very interesting question, and on the other hand the answer is very easy. We want to have fun here. We want to include what we like, and that doesn't necessarily have to be from the trash can, in my opinion. For me, a junk journal is something where I can express myself no matter which materials I use. And that is, yeah, it's a really important thing for me that I am allowed to do that. I mean, it's my channel, I can do what I want here, but you know, I also say that because I want to encourage you to do that and just include what you like and what you want, no matter if it was in the trash can before or not. I mean, it's your thing, and if you want to do it like that, then please just do that. And perhaps it's sometimes also this question of the perspective you see the whole thing, because who says that this, for example, is not junk? This paper here I've used to cut these out was in my trash can before I have cut these flowers out. And I have really taken it out from my trash can and then cut this out. Can you see that? No, obviously not. Is it important that you can see that it was trash? No. Is there something wrong with using only things from the trash can and no digital paper? No. I'm happy that you are here no matter what you use and what you want to have in your journals, because the thing is, we want to have fun here, right? And I think when you now alternate these things a little bit, the whole thing can get really interesting. So it started with this, where we had this not paper fabric, then this thing, this little net, the button, and this thing. That is a lot. It makes sense to me to have this bigger decoration here. If I then later decide that I only want the die cut here because here's already a lot on the page, and perhaps I want to even put something here to the top of these tags, and when I take them out I can see this makes sense with only this flower and not more here, yeah, no fluff, no fabric or whatever, because then this turtle is really in the focus of this page and this doesn't take the attention away from the turtle, then yeah, then I just leave it. And with doing that and not adding the same things everywhere, we get this versatility of the things, I think. Here, for example, I think we can just leave this exactly like it is, because we already have this flower here, which I had there before I glued that. And here, this screams to perhaps put some seagrass here. And in this stage, I could also imagine to add quotes. With this printable Raggedy Turtle Bloom, you get different sheets with quotes and the lines from the lyrics of the soundtrack to this paper collection, which I made with my dear friend Daniel Evans, and which you get with your download as well. I mean, the music you will get with your download as well. And that is exactly the song you've already heard in this video a little bit earlier. And it would make sense to add, for example, a little quote here now, but I want to save my quotes for another video idea I want to do in the close future. And that is why I don't add the quotes here and why I on purpose leave some of these spaces empty here now, because I want to do that in another step and, you know, for this other video. But it would also, of course, be possible to do that now and to include the quotes now. Here, a pocket would make sense. And I can already see that my brain is doing crazy things here now. Well, do I really want to call that crazy? I don't know. But my brain says I have a strategy, yes, and that is like a main thing in my head now. But it also tells me on this page here, a pocket would make sense. And that is obviously not what I originally had planned to do in this step, but if I want to have this die cut here, I would need to put the pocket under it, otherwise that would look very strange. This, look, can you see? This is like brother and sister. Can you see that? This little flower here and this. This is really cool. Take this and quickly sew over here. And then we could also think about adding some ribbon here. I have this little piece left, which is from the cover. Okay, so then when we have that, we can just glue this down. And here I will put the glue here and not to the very top here, because then this here is a little bit, you know, away from the page, and that makes it more dimensional. I'm so sorry. I'm always getting so confused when it comes to gluing pockets down, because I always don't know where to put the glue. But what I was trying to say, when the glue is here, instead of here on the very top, then this is a little bit in the air, and it looks more like two tags on this page because it has more dimension. And this material has also a little bit more space here to be there, and it, you know, it's not pressed so flat to the page. Okay, then I will leave this for the moment, and later on I will decide what I want to put in here, because, you know, the glue is not dry and I don't want to risk that the piece I put in there gets glued down there accidentally.
We peeked out from our hiding place. The whole sea paused that night. We are Raggedy Turtle Bloom. Ooh, shipwrecked souls that chase the sun. Oh, moving slow with the weathered shells. But now we journey on and on and on. Every page we stitch together. Every shell we leave behind. In a world that rushes past us, I found your hand in mine. No storm will ever break apart the bond we made from ruins. We are Raggedy Turtle Bloom, wild and bright, a loving tune. You taught me how to listen to the lullabies of waves, to trust a battered heart can find the rhythm that it craves. You taught me how to open to the rain and let it heal. We built a home from driftwood scraps where whispered hopes are real. Loving you was learning how to breathe beneath the tide. Impossible and wondrous when we stop the urge to hide and let them say we're too late, too lost, too hidden to belong. They don't see how turtles blossom when the world feels so wrong. The gentlest touch can turn a shadow shell into a home for two. We're not what they all expected, but I'm so glad that I've got you. We are Raggedy Turtle Bloom. Ooh, shipwrecked souls that chase the sun. Oh.
And I really like how different that looks on this side and on the other side, even if it started with the same idea, just with, you know, using a little bit different materials, but at the same time somehow the same materials. You know, you get something totally different, and I really like that. I like this better. So then I thought, when I look at this, from here it's perhaps not so extremely visible what I mean, but I'm trying to show you that. In reality, you can see that way better. The camera makes that this fluff here is like really in the foreground and really in the eye somehow when you look at this, but perhaps you can focus your view on the page tabs here and these turquoise accents which are peeking out here now from the new ephemera we have added here and the decorations. And now I'm thinking it could be good if we had a little more turquoise here on the edges and, you know, on the page tabs. And also, and that's perhaps how you can see that a little bit better in the camera, when I do it like this and I look in this angle here to the pages. For me personally, it's really important that this looks good. What do you think about this choice? Let's see. Ooh, oh my goodness. Let's see if that can work. So I want to try to do that really strategically as well. Let's start with the Evergreen Bow watercolor pencil. And let's just put a little bit here. Then I want to take a wet paintbrush, but from my dirty water here, because I think it would be good if this color wouldn't come out like it normally would come out, because that would be perhaps too clean compared to the other things we have here. And this is doing exactly what I want. That is pretty good. Okay. It's also mixing a little bit here with my inking. These page tabs I've inked with what? I think this is Scotch Timber Distress ink. Okay, that is perfect. This is now, I'm genius. This is now this color here approximately. What a difference. Oh my goodness. So that means I will now do that first on all of the front sides here. So, you know, like this. Then I flip the whole thing over into the back sides.
You taught me how to listen to the lullabies of waves, to trust a battered heart can find the rhythm that it craves. You taught me how to open to the rain and let it heal. We built a home from driftwood scraps where whispered hopes are real. Loving you was learning how to breathe beneath the tide. Impossible and wondrous when we stop the urge to hide and let them say we're too late, too lost, too hidden to belong. They don't see how turtles blossom when the world feels.
I think this gives a really cool addition. And even on those pages where we have mainly like the other colors, yeah, and not so much of the turquoise. And here's, you know, when you look at this page, you would say this is basically orange, yeah. But with this, because we see all of this as well, we get more of the turquoise to the page as well. We have this in the flower here and here a little bit, but with this around there, it's like a frame which has the turquoise as well. It's really hard to show in the camera, but I hope that you can see it when I do it like this. In reality, when I look to it, I can immediately see all of this. Here, for example, I can see it when I just sit here, but you can't see it because of the angle of the camera, but it's there. And obviously, if you do it for a journal in front of you, yeah, then you can see it as well. Okay, so I would say that's it for today. So I will leave you alone now so that you can try this out. And perhaps we will see the next time again. Have a very great and creative day. Bye.